Here we are, we're looking at the first quarter review. Question number 1 says, calculate the coordinate distance, how the crow flies, between the house A and the school B. So our distance is going to be between these two spots. If we have our distance formula, I'm going to plug in distance is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Simplifying, we get two negatives equals a positive on that side. 2 plus 7, or 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Over here we get 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 squared is 49. So I get the square root of 89. If we're going to put that in simplest radical form, that is 7 square roots of 2. The second question says, Dad says that he will meet the kids at the midpoint of his office, C, and the school, B. Where are the coordinates of that point? So we're finding the midpoint of C and B. In my drawing, that's this just in between here. And the midpoint of those 2 points, we would use the midpoint formula. x1 plus x2 divided by 2. y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Simplifying that, I get 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 3 plus negative 4 is negative 1. Divided by 2 is negative 1/2. And question 3. Find the length of the segment that has one endpoint at the midpoint of AB and the other endpoint at C. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the midpoint of AB, which is somewhere in here, and then find that to the distance here. So we're going to find this midpoint and then find the distance between there. All right, so the first thing we have to do to solve this thing is to find the midpoint of AB. Well, if I take negative 5 plus 2 divided by 2, I get negative 3/2. And 4 plus negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Divided by 2 is negative 1/2. Now all we have to do is find the length of the segment from this point to the point 4, negative 4. So I'm going to use my distance formula with those 2 points. My distance formula would be x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Again, we get a lot of those 2 negatives makes a positive in this question. 4 plus 3/2 gives me 5.5. 5.5 squared is 30.25. And on this side, I get negative 3.5, and negative 3.5 squared would be positive 12.25. Adding those together, I get 42.5. And I'm going to leave it as a simplified, with that decimal in there. Question number 4. We have a statement, if a polygon is a triangle, then its perimeter is the sum of its sides. Write the hypothesis of that statement. Well, the hypothesis is the if portion of it. So we would say, if a polygon is a triangle. There you go. Question number 5. The conclusion of that is the then portion of the statement. And we would say its perimeter is the sum of its sides. The converse, remember the converse is just taking the then and making it the if, and vice versa. So we're going to say if a polygon, can't write its because you have to have the noun before the pronoun. If the polygon has a perimeter it is the sum of its sides, comma, then it is a triangle. Give a counterexample to prove that the converse is false. Notice that they say that the perimeter is the sum of its sides. If we would have said 3 sides, then it would be true, but since it just says sides, we can say a square, rectangle. Any other would be the counterexample to that. Question number 8. Complete the conclusion to the syllogism for the following true statements below. If I set my alarm for 8:15 a.m., then I will get out of bed at 6:15. If I get out of bed at 6:15, then I will be ready to catch the bus at 7. If I catch the bus at 7, then I will be at school on time. Therefore, if I set my alarm at 6:15, then, and then my conclusion would be, of course, the then in this statement, then I will be to school on time. Very good. Question number 9. If C and D are complementary and the measure of angle C is 39, then the measure of angle D. Well, complementary means they add up to 90, so I'm going to do 90 minus 39. It gives me a grand total of 51 degrees. Question number 10. The measure of an angle is 54 less than the measure of its supplement. Find the measure of the angle and the measure of its supplement. Well, if one angle is x and the other one is 54 less than that, if we add those together, they're going to equal 180. Simplifying, I get 2x minus 54 equals 180. Adding 54 to both sides gives me 234. And then dividing by 2, I get 117 degrees. If that one's my x, if I subtract 54 from that, I'm going to get 63 degrees for the other one. So x minus 54 equals 63 degrees. For chapter 3 here, it says, use the ordered pairs to find out if AB is parallel to CD. So we're going to use the slope formula because that's how we find out if something is parallel. If they have the same slope, then they're parallel. The slope of AB would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Simplifying that, I get negative 6 over 12, or negative 1/2. Now the slope of CD would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and I get negative 13 over 18. Now, as negative 1/2 and negative 13/18 are not the same, so we would say they are not parallel. Write the equation of the line that is perpendicular to AB. Well, in AB, we knew that that slope was negative 1/2. So our perpendicular slope would be the opposite reciprocal of negative 1/2, which would give us a slope of 2. And it's going to go through either A or B. I'm going to use the point A, which is negative 2, 5. If we have a point and we have a slope, we should plug it into point-slope form. Y minus 5 equals 2 times the quantity of x minus x1. And then I'm going to take two negatives and make it positive. I get y minus 5 equals 2x plus 4. Adding 5 to both sides, I get y is equal to 2x plus 9.